Hey everybody. So I figured I'd do a quick video. First, I'm gonna do some stuff later. I haven't had a chance to do much of anything in the last roughly going on a week, just because sick kid and lots of other things. It's just been rough. But I did get this display the other day, and I sat down the other night, played around with it for a few hours, and mocked something up, and spent a little bit of time this morning figuring out the comms on it, and I think I figured that out, and figured, well, you know what, let me show everybody what I got with this, what it is. Anyways, so this is a company called 4D Systems makes these displays. This one is, I forget what series microcontroller this one is. I think this is their Diablo microcontroller. Yeah, Diablo 16 processor. Some obviously custom silicon that they've come up with. And it has a lot of neat features, and the development environment, it's okay. It's buggy, quirky, kind of clumsy, but you know what? Fortunately, it's very, very quick. You could write some fairly elaborate stuff very quickly on it, which is what's good. Because you get it done, and then you don't need it anymore. You load it on a SD card, and it just boots off the SD card that's on here. So this is a development kit that they produce, and you get the display, you get a flat flex cable, you get a Gen 4 PA adapter, you get this Gen 4 interface for the same flat flex that sort of goes and has breakout for breadboard, and a little booklet, quick start guide where to get the software out of, get it up and running. Boot times of this display are reasonably good. It boots from SD card, so if I just go ahead and fire this thing up with my test code on it, with my test GUI, you'll see very immediately what I've been coming up with. So here we go. Reasonably quick time to start up. And that's reasonable. I could deal with that startup time. 2-3 seconds, I could deal with that. So there's my sort of main screen that I've mostly mocked up, and there's 4 buttons on the screen that work, that I've tied up to doing something. The menu button, which brings you to a menu that hasn't been built, and then an about button that brings you to an about screen that just has an image on it that inside of a text box with a border that I've been fooling around with, and of course an exit button that takes you back to this menu that there's nothing there. Presumably things will be on here like contrast, adjust the display contrast, things like that, and exit back over to the main screen. And of course these buttons up here like change mode, and all they do is they just change this display here so that I can see that the buttons are working. So you can see I'm just changing. You got to hit them fairly dead on because they're smaller, and I've noticed that with the protective film on it that it's a little bit, like I've peeled it back and touched things, and it's a lot more responsive without the little plastic stuff on it. It's reasonably good though with the large buttons. So it's just these smaller ones that I've got up here, and they're reasonably okay. They're reasonably okay. So and that's just my way I did that at the moment. That probably should be done differently. But anyway, my idea for this, of course, is a radio heads-up display. And if I can figure out how to interconnect the two, then we will have a display for radio. There are some A to D converters, not on this, but on the microcontroller. So here's what we got on the back. We have a Solomon SSD 1963, that's going to be display driver, and we have their Diablo 16 processor here, and we have our SD card here, and everything that comes with this kit, everything you see here comes with a kit, SD card included, and it's a reasonably good a Class 10 industrial grade SD card as well. So it's not like they're giving you a a rather cheap chintzy card. They're actually giving you a really good card. So that's good. This is a really good kit. I think it's I believe it's $120 for this kit. Reasonably priced starter kit. The display modules, obviously themselves, are cheaper. I think the display modules themselves come in, I thought maybe $80 for the display module. So the only thing that you would have to do for your project is you get your board, and you plug your flat flex cable into your hardware. You put your program that's on this SD card, and you flash the display. You boot the display up, and that's it. Because program lives on the SD card. So the other issue about that I know people start to think about is, well, what's to stop somebody from just going and taking your program off of the back of the display because it's on an SD card? Well, they supposedly have ways to deal with that, but you got to sign NDA. And I think that maybe there's a way that you can cipher the contents or lock the card to the display or something to that effect. Because there's a lot of things that are reportable out about the hardware aspect of this. So presumably there's probably a way to there's certainly a way to lock down firmware on this. It's just that I couldn't be bothered to go and sign NDA to get it. It's just a neat little display, and I figured that I would give it a shot and see what I could come up with. And that I came up with fairly quickly. There's several different environments. Like there's a serial environment. There's a where you basically send everything to the display over a serial link, which would be slow. And then they've got like their Visi, and then I think like Visi Genie. You definitely don't want, like, I think it's the Visi Genie. You definitely don't want that, because you can make a quick working project, but you have almost absolutely no events that you can that you can hook into on that. For example, like if you wanted to have an event, like I'm going to have an event, and I already know I can do it, to touch the digits. Well, you can have an event to touch the digits, but in the Visi, you can't bind the touch of various things. The only thing that has an event of any use, I believe, is a button, and these other the other widgets like the meters and the displays, that's for a change. If they change, you can fire an event because you set a value on them. That's not very useful, but with the environment that you actually write your own code, you can basically bind, or set all of the monitor the entire screen for touches and where you're touching, based on, and it works out for you. Like you can touch the meter, for example. I could touch that, and I could change the display of the meter just by touching it. So I could touch the meter and say, okay, I want to change the meter from, say, one to another, and you just touch the meter and change it. But you can do that when you code it yourself. You cannot do that in that Visi. They've got like some kind of magic thing that you have to buy it though. But you want to write your own code. You want the GUI environment that you can align the items on the screen, but then you can then generate the code for the items and control them yourselves. That's really that's probably the best middle ground right there. Because I think that gives you the most flexibility. The new Genie thing that's supposed to, when you just throw stuff on the display, you can get something very simple up running very quickly with that. I mean, when I tried it, literally 3 minutes, and it was I had like several pages, and yeah, it's very quick. But you can't touch. You pretty much, okay, I want to change that. I'd have to have a button there to push so that I could change this, and then pop up another screen with a keyboard on it. Nah, I want to touch this display. I don't want to, okay, I want to touch that and bring up a button and change the display. I want the meter, I want to change the meter. I want to just be able to tap it to change like the background of the meter. I can do that by touching it. With the other environment, you really couldn't set up very much touch, especially when you have a nice capacitive touch screen like this is. This is a nice, reasonably, fast capacitive touchscreen, and it draws very, very quickly, considering the speed. The thing runs like 8 or 12 megahertz or something like that. So it's not even that quick, but still reasonably quick, draw times in the display. So, I don't see very much like tearing or flickering or anything like that. There's definitely, like when it's drawing the picture, you can definitely see it's sort of painting it, but it's reasonably quick. So I've been very happy with this, and I think this will do nicely. So anyways, I hope you guys find it interesting. I will be firing it up later so that, we can open up all the things that I got over here. I got 4 things sitting here, and the day is still young, and there's probably going to be more than that before long. Maybe. We'll see. I don't think the post has been yet. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Come around, keep an eye out later for more experiments. I definitely want to get back into doing some tinkering tonight. So catch you guys later. Cheers for now.